Coffee on a Tuesday in Vlog 24. And to everybody out there who's new, welcome. So, there was this Soviet astronomer called Nikolai Kardashev, and he devised a system for measuring the energy needs of a civilization on a very broad scale. It's called the Kardashev scale, and it breaks down like this. A Type 1 civilization is one that's harnessed the full power of the planet on which it lives, which is to say a civilization that utilizes all the solar, wind, nuclear, etc. energy available to it on its home planet. This is measured using Earth as an example as 10 to the 16th watts. A Type 1 civilization can control the weather, it can manipulate basic matter, and its economy is global. Now, a Type 2 civilization is one that has harnessed all the power from its nearest star. When the planet's energy output becomes unequal to the needs of the civilization, that civilization will go right to the source and devise some method for collecting the energy from that giant fusion reactor, which is its parent star, measured using the sun as an example as 4 times 10 to the 26th watts. A Type 2 civilization is, for all intents and purposes, invincible. There is nothing known to physics, not even a supernova, which can destroy it. Now, a Type 3 civilization, and this is where it gets cool, is one that has harnessed all the power of its home galaxy, which is to say all the many billions of stars that comprise it, sort of like the Galactic Republic from Star Wars. Using our Milky Way as an example, this is measured at 4 times 10 to the 37th watts. And then there's us, human beings from the planet Earth. We are, drumroll please, a Type 0 civilization, which means that we still get the majority of our energy from dead plants.
How long will it take for us to become Type 1?
Michio Kaku, a physicist who you might have seen on every single Science Channel show, has predicted that we'll get there somewhere in the next 100 to 200 years, and Type 2 in the next 1,000.
And we see the beginnings of that now.
But there's a problem here, and it's out there in the stars, in our galaxy, the Milky Way galaxy, which has somewhere between 200 to 400 billion stars in it. Common sense seems to tell us that there has to be intelligent life out there somewhere, most likely intelligent life which is way more advanced than us. We know that any civilization, Type 2 or above, would have an energy signature detectable by our instruments. So the question has to be, why don't we see them? There are many possible answers to this question, but the one I find most compelling is the one most applicable to our situation here on Earth. Every intelligent species will go through the process of discovering the elements on the periodic table. They'll work systematically from hydrogen on up, and eventually they'll come to discovering element 92, known to us as uranium. This is a very special element. On Earth, it appears in a few isotopes, most commonly uranium-238. Now, this consists of 99.2% of all the uranium that's out there, but there's also uranium-235. Now, this consists of 0.72% of all that's out there, but it's much, much more valuable. See, when you bombard uranium-235 with a free neutron, you make uranium-236, a highly unstable atom. So unstable that it has to split into 2 lighter elements, krypton and barium, as well as 3 more free neutrons. This process is called fission, and it releases a whole lot of energy. How much energy? Well, there's a handy equation for figuring that out. It's simply the mass times the speed of light squared. Thing is, it's very tricky to separate that uranium-235 from the uranium-238. It takes a lot of time and a lot of money. But if you can do it, that remaining uranium-235 is called enriched uranium. And if you have a good amount of it, well, then you've really hit the jackpot. Remember those 3 free neutrons coming off the original uranium-236 atom? Well, they're going to whiz away and bombard other uranium-235 atoms, turning them into 236s, which then split apart again and release 3 free neutrons each. Now, you can either control the speed of this chain reaction if you want to utilize the power for something like a city, or you can just let the reaction go as fast as it wants. And the result of this is on Earth, only the richest and smartest countries have been able to develop a nuclear weapon because of the tediousness of enriching that uranium. But just last month, it was discovered that the country of Iran has begun that process of enrichment, and successfully. Many people want Iran to stop enriching for fear that they're building a bomb. Iran says that's not what it's doing and that it won't stop, but people don't seem to believe them, though I don't have the slightest idea why. It's all very tense right now, but let me bring this back to my point. See, when an intelligent species learns to enrich uranium element 92, it all of a sudden gains the power to totally destroy its own environment. In other words, to destroy itself. Maybe this is the reason why we don't see or hear from other intelligent life in the cosmos. Maybe it's because the most critical time for any civilization is that transition between Type 0 and Type 1. A Type 1 civilization is global, which means that its economy is global as well as a large part of its culture. It has to be tolerant, communicative, pluralistic. It has to rise above the monocultural, totalitarian, often theistic belief in ultimate conformity. In other words, it has to be peaceful. We can see that though we possess a lot of characteristics of a Type 1 civilization, we're not quite there yet. Totalitarianism still has its sanctuaries. It may very well be the case that there are dozens of Earth-like planets out there with extinct intelligent civilizations. Civilizations that failed to negotiate that transition between Type 0 and Type 1. Civilizations caught up in their own weaknesses. And if we make it, and one day far from now are flying around the galaxy and come across one that didn't, there's no doubt to me that we'll feel the profoundest sense of pity, because we would know that with a little bit of knowledge and empathy and courage, it could have gone the other way.